What is up, everybody? It's the Inhuman one here with part 7 of the ultimate 100% guide for Black Myth Wukong. In the previous episode, we were able to make it through the labyrinthian prison that is the Pagoda Realm, but in this episode, we'll be making our way back to the surface and exploring a more snowy, kind of scenic area, if you will, and one that has pretty epic proportions, so really looking forward to exploring it. Again, this is a 100% guide, so as I've stated before in previous episodes, following this guide will allow you to not only unlock every single portrait, find every single collectible, defeat every single boss, locate every secret area, but of course obtain the secret true ending as well. So in one single playthrough, you're going to be seeing all of that. So anyways, let's jump into the guide, and as I've always stated before, use this as a guide that's going to help you, but you don't have to follow it exactly to the T, right? So if there's certain changes you want to make along the way, feel free to do that. If there's certain armor sets you might favor more than others, you can always explore, kind of whatever you want to experiment with. That even goes for the spirit skills you want to have equipped, but just know that my method is certainly tried and true, so if you are having difficulty, that's what this guide's for, especially when it comes to activating all of the secret encounters and locating all of the secret areas. So just make sure to grab that fragrant vine. It's going to allow us to increase our gourd. And what we're going to do is, before long, we're actually going to go visit the Zodiac Village. We haven't talked to those guys in a while, so it'll be a great opportunity. So the next shrine that we get to, we're going to visit our friends over at the Zodiac Shrine and, of course, chat with them and see what they have for sale. A lot of their inventory may have changed. Every chapter, you should make it a point to go and visit them, okay? And every time you do, their inventory will upgrade, so be sure to do that. So we're going to grab the vine. Can't miss this will here. You have to absorb it. Unless you just are really stubborn. And then as we make it through here, we're going to be coming up on one of our first secrets already. So this right here is, of course, a chest that we can loot. But what did I say? Sun Wukong is very rebellious, right? So fences are meant to keep people out. Well, we don't follow the rules. So all you have to do is break through the fence here, and there's going to be a semi-difficult fight up ahead. This is a Monk of the Sea that we're going to be facing off with. They deal frost damage, and they have tentacles that are very unpredictable. Very, very strong enemies considering, but avoid these guys. None of these guys are actual enemies. He certainly is, though. So we'll take him out as quickly as possible, and then we can actually reach a hidden meditation spot that would otherwise have been inaccessible. See if we can get this attack out. Oh, he's too good. Too good. That should stun him. And then go ahead and finish him off. Again, very tanky, very powerful, very hard hitting. And they use frost, which is just a nasty, nasty effect. So let's go ahead and meditate here. We'll be coming up on a shrine here before long. But this meditation spot is super easy to miss and can be one that you miss along the way. Actually, a lot of people end up not locating this particular one because they don't break the fence. But remember, if there's fences, see if you can't go past their little barriers or whatever they're blocking off. And if there's not an invisible barrier, then run right through and you might just find a secret like this. But we'll be coming up on a shrine, and that'll be an excellent opportunity for us to go visit our friends in the Zodiac Village and see what they're up to. We might even be crafting a new armor set before long, just for fun. But again, it all depends on your playstyle and your preference. By no means are you bound to using any one armor set. You can even interchange the pieces if you like. You can completely disregard the set bonuses if you want to, just for fashion. But I certainly think that the sets go really well together. Interchanging some of the pieces sometimes can look pretty cool, but more often than not, the sets that go together just work best together, and they look really good together as well. So take out this enemy really quickly. He can aggro sometimes if you go up this hill, but we're going to go up this hill immediately after. Take out the two enemies here. There's actually a third one up ahead. He's already awake, so we can do a jumping attack here to finish him off pretty quickly. And then back away as he flails. We'll get this guy out of the way too. Dodge his attacks. Dodge. And we've got another Monk of the Sea coming up, so make sure that you're ready for a somewhat difficult fight. But once we get past that, we're in the clear, and we'll be able to reach our save point. So let's go down and around, take out any other enemies that are kind of, waiting in ambush. Alright, we should be good now. Another friend. Don't be afraid to use your spells. Heal. Then we get some damage in. Oh gosh. I'm trying to... It's making me grab an item and I wasn't able to to use my abilities. That was scary. We're gonna have to... we're in a really bad spot. We're gonna have to use our transformation here. And it's not a problem because we're coming up from save point. But yikes. I was in all kinds of trouble there, stuck in between that little tree. We're gonna go ahead and de-transform because we're still stuck. And we broke the game. That's insane. I knew something was off. That was just nuts. Well, you guys saw it here first, huh? Whee! I don't know what will happen. I imagine I'll hit a ceiling, right? Or maybe the game will crash, depending on how deep I go. And this is not intended by any means. Well, anyways, we broke the game. Avoid that tree at all costs. Let's go ahead and quit and see where it takes us. Hopefully, we can find ourselves up on the surface. I've never encountered a glitch of that magnitude. I've seen where some bosses aggro before I enter the boss arena. Only after like I've interacted with them before and fought with them before. I've also had some strange interactions where the certain bosses wouldn't respawn. Of course, after the initial reaction or interaction. So that was strange. But I'm going to keep that in there. I want you guys to see that because that is odd. We completely broke the game. But we'll be rushing past that point again. It takes just a few moments to get there, so no worries. But yeah, my apologies. I'm not sure why it broke like that. But certainly ended up using our resources. So we'll go ahead and rest again. And we're going to sprint there as fast as we can so we can make up for lost time. But yeah, that's odd. I want to actually make sure I manually go through this area to ensure that everything that we did pick up was saved. But typically, when you pick up an item, harvest item, things of that nature, it's going to register that and record it. And you can see that the autosave takes place if you look at the top right of the screen. But I have never seen the game glitch out like that. I have seen it crash one time in my, I think, 100 hours of playing probably, of split across my two profiles. My challenge run took forever. And, so yeah. That was odd. Other than those other glitches I told you about, nothing else that we've seen. So yeah, everything's going to hopefully have registered. We'll go ahead and take out these enemies so they don't ambush us. And we're right back at the monk of the sea that we had just killed before crashing through the floor there and completely clipping through all the assets. We gotta let our stamina recover while we prepare for this guy. Alright, this little buddy right here. Let's see if maybe this time we can go a little smoother. I think the plant being there really threw me off. Alright, he's dead. And we didn't fall through this time. That's a great sign. Alright, so now we can continue fighting with these guys here, just kind of cleaning up the rest of the path. And these guys can be annoying, especially if you just kind of underestimate them. They can hit you for some pretty good damage. But we're almost in the clear. Anytime you have an ability, the option or opportunity to use a skill point attack, or a focus point I should say, definitely use your focus point and just stagger the enemy up front. Deny them the opportunity to attack you. So we're coming up on the shrine, as you can see. We'll go ahead and absorb this. We don't even need to top off or heal anything, nothing like that. We're just going to go straight to the shrine and then make a stop at the Zodiac Shrine so we can visit our buddies, all the NPCs that we've helped along the way. Again, there's nothing here, just kind of a scenic route. And here's the shrine. From this shrine, there's going to be two paths, one to the left and one to the right, and we'll be exploring both, but in a very specific order. So let's go ahead and rest, and then we're going to travel, or better yet, we can just use... oh, you know what? Oh my goodness. I'm talking about something that doesn't even exist yet in this playthrough. My apologies. The Zodiac Village is something that we will be unlocking here after this next, a little bit of exploration. So my apologies. The NPCs will have a hub known as the Zodiac Village, and you can access it soon after this chapter. So in chapter 3, about the middle of it, you're going to be able to actually access all those things. So my fault, I got kind of mixed up there. I was thinking about something. So let's go to the right first. We're going to cross this bridge, and then we're going to start exploring everything. So you guys are like, what are you talking about, Zodiac Village? The Zodiac Village is a hub that we will unlock in due time. But make a sharp right, grab the tree pearl. Sorry about the confusion there, especially on a guide like this. I hate to do that, but hey, we're not perfect. Now we can go back here. We're going to do a clean sweep of the area, make sure that we grab all of the goodies. There's a lot of those frozen, they kind of seem like monkeys to me, but sometimes they might even be like more like satyrs, because they don't have tails, 1, and then 2, sometimes they have hooves. I've seen some with hooves, which is really unpleasant. Alright, so there we go. Always lock on if you don't know which one's alive, especially with the poor visibility. Does make it a little more tricky sometimes. But this path isn't supposed to be much of a challenge. It does lead to the secret area of Chapter 3, which you will not be able to actually access until the end of Chapter 6. So after you beat Chapter 6, you'll be able to access the secret in this chapter. Now, of course, you could do it earlier, but then you'd be missing out on the default ending. So if you miss out on the default ending, and you activate the series of events to see the secret ending, you'll miss out entirely on the achievement for the standard ending, and you won't be able to undo what you've done. So make sure that you do it in the order that I'm going to show you in the video, or in this series, so that you don't miss out. But anyways, this is a big open area. You know, as much as I thought it would be and how many times I've explored it, I always thought it would be some sort of boss arena, but it's not. It's just a peaceful little pathway, aside from those handful of frozen guys, and we're going to jump in here. The reason why we want to go in here is because we want to tag the shrine so that we can save ourselves some time near the end of the game, so that we won't have to be making treks unnecessarily. But I mean, anytime you can always eliminate like the actual travel or backtracking, you should definitely do that. There's not a lot of it in this game. In Chapter 3, it's not only the longest chapter, but it also kind of is the rule to the exception, where you have to go back multiple times. Most chapters only require you to go back a single time to get a secret item or something of the nature, but yeah, they get a little tricky sometimes. Anyways, I do want to show you kind of how this temple works, but first thing I'm going to do is activate the shrine, which is to our left, once we regain control of the destined one. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and offer a strand of hair, burn some incense, activate this shrine, and then we can rest. We shouldn't have used any abilities or anything though, so we should be fine. But this is the Great Pagoda. Anyways, from here, as you can see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 walls, or places where murals could be placed, right? And if you've noticed, we've completed Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. We're currently trying to complete Chapter 3. Once we go through and complete Chapter 4, 5, and 6, each of these tapestries and murals are going to be placed on the wall, and the 7th will be placed here that we can actually explore. And that is how you access the secret area. So only after completing the 6 chapters can you do it. And I suggest you do it in the order that I've told you, of course. But anyways, really interesting area. Take note of it. It's called the Great Pagoda, and it's in Chapter 3. The only area that will never outright be called secret area. Okay, so this is simply the entrance to the secret area. So now that we're here, we can go back to the Snow Veil Trail, which is where we left off, which is where I was rambling about an area you guys haven't yet seen. That's what happens when you travel through time. Sometimes the timelines get mixed up. So anyways, we've activated the Snow Veil Trail, and we've also activated the Shrine in the Great Pagoda for later. So as we warp back here, it's going to save us a few minutes of travel time, and we're going to go left to this path here. Alright, so now we go left and up the stairs. This is kind of an interesting area for a number of reasons. It does loop around in a really, really nice way, and I'm going to show you guys how to traverse it the best way and the most efficient way. So first things first, we're going to head directly right And then we're just going to run through all these guys because it's just really satisfying. And we're going to follow that little essence there that's kind of leading us towards the next shrine. So here we go upstairs, and you might hear some commotion, but don't mind it at all. We're going to be dealing with that in due time. So up through that gate, there's going to be a unique cutscene that's triggered, but we don't want to do it just yet because it will trigger a boss fight. So instead, we want to explore the rest of this area to the fullest. So we're going to go ahead and rest here at the Warding Temple. And then from here, we're going to be heading kind of back and to the right. So if this was straight, we're going to be going to the right. And now, since we're going down the stairs, we'll be heading to the left. And we're going to make a big circle around this area, starting with this little closed off nook on this side here. So first things first, though, always make sure that you you are fully rested and you have full mana, because this guy's not a problem at all. However, we got the unique curio for that enemy. That's fantastic. What a perfect timing to get it too. So we get increased critical hit chance while we are chilled. And not only that, but we also got the chill resistance. So, if at any point in time you want to trade some out, you can certainly do that. So for a matter of fact, we could go ahead and do that now. Even though I rarely ever substitute anything in lieu of damage, we're just having some fun with this playthrough. Alright, so here's our little friend, the Monk of the Sea, yet again. Okay, I was like, what am I doing? I don't want to fall through the assets again. That scared me. That scared me last time. There you go. And when you hear that kind of almost like watery effect, that means that you timed your resolute strike on perfectly so that you get iframes. So I'll explain that mechanic a little bit more. I think I haven't done a great job in explaining the iframes as it pertains to the resolute strike and what it means to see through an enemy. So whenever you have focus points built up, whenever you're doing your light attack combo and you press triangle while you're doing the combo, you have to be hitting an enemy. Unfortunately, otherwise it won't really trigger. It acts like you're doing the standalone attack. What will happen is if you time it while you're being struck, you will actually have the opportunity to do a counter. And that counter gives you iframes for just a moment, and then it completely nullifies your damage, and then you can deal damage and follow up with your other strike. If you have more than one focus point, or if you had a single focus point, that could work as well. It's fine, but you just have to have the resolute strike unlocked in the skill tree, which is one of the things that we did unlock in this guide. So it's kind of an interesting mechanic, and one that is incredibly invaluable as you get towards the more difficult boss fights. I'll showcase the ability with an enemy that's semi-easy to gauge in terms of the attack, because sometimes it's really not. Enemies that move really, really slow like that are often more difficult because they have large sweeping strikes, but aside from grabbing that little, absorbing that will that was there, there's nothing else. We already opened the chest, we're good to go. So now what I suggest you do is you go back up to the shrine, you can rest so you can regain your mana, and then from here, we'll go back down the stairs and to the right. And this will be the big loop that takes us all around this entire Warding Temple area, and you get quite a few items that you would have missed out on had you just gone straight to the temple. It's really easy to miss out on all this. We'll actually be coming up from right to the side of the temple. You'll see. It's going to be really funny. You're going to be like, wow, it really is just a full circle. And not only that, but it's a great testament to the level design of game science. They did really excellent on this game, and level design is one of the big things for me. And as someone that plays this, I don't consider this a Souls-like at all, but as someone who plays Souls-likes, kind of understanding the area is key and crucial to, planning out the best pathways and all of that. Metroidvanias are another one of my favorite genres. Of course, understanding the layout of the area is huge, especially when certain Metroidvanias nowadays don't even have maps. So this game also doesn't have a map. So it's an action-adventure type game similar to, semi-open world, similar to like God of War Ragnarok or Horizon Zero Dawn in that sense. So it's kind of interesting to kind of see how it all kind of bolts together. But anyways, long story short, level design is a huge factor of mine, what I consider whenever I'm thinking of a game, and the quality of it. And this has some excellent level design. So that sound is just the perfect dodge. But anyways, we're going to go up here at these kind of makeshift steps. we've grabbed the tree pearl, and now we have a few things to grab along this way here too. You have to make kind of a sharp path and go up these like really steep snowy hills here. And you might think, man, he's running into damage. Well, not quite yet. I mean, we are defeating these enemies here, but it's all for a reason. We need to get here to this area so we can absorb the will. Dodge out of the way so you can avoid the flail, and then there is another enemy right here. But they take so long to get up. You're pretty safe. Alright, we got the double will. We're going to continue down this path here, and there'll be another enemy with a fan. One of those fan Yagway. And those guys are pretty nasty, especially as it pertains to their frost damage. They can inflict it like nobody's business. So, anyways, we're going to continue down this path. This is where we had just defeated the other enemies. Walk down the stairs. We can open up this coffin right here. And then we can continue down towards the fan-wielding enemy. It's going to be a little ways up, and you'll notice that there's some. You might be hit or, tagged with some projectiles from afar. And don't worry about it. It's a weird enemy. It's like looks like asparagus or something to me, but it does have seeds that you can farm off of it. So this enemy right here, you can just run in, do a running attack. It does kind of knock you around. So if it starts spinning around, just dodge back. And it actually tries to hit you twice, so make sure you dodge enough and keep your distance before you just run right back in. But anyways, we're coming up on the fan enemy here before long. Let's see if we can take out this guy first. If you hear that kind of bird cry, that's certainly the enemy, so we want to take this guy out quickly now, so we don't have to fight two of them at the same time. Lovely. We're going to go ahead and heal, because this is becoming a bit of an issue. Alright. Now we can start using our abilities here. When he dashes back, he will inflict a little bit of chill, so just be careful. Don't stay in front of him for too long. If you see he's starting to flap his wings, he's going to retreat. All that's inflicting frost if you're near it. But with our light attack combo, we should be able to finish him off. So, not the worst enemy, but also pretty frustrating. They can be incredibly frustrating. There's going to be some random things we can harvest around here, like the fire bellflower, so we can certainly do that. And we're going to stick to the right for now, and then we'll kind of come around to the left side. We're going to grab this tree pearl right here. Alright. And now, this side over here is actually pretty barren in terms of the items. You can't even go much further than this before you hit an invisible wall, so don't worry about that. Here we've got our second little bird friend. So we're going to come up on him, hit him from this angle here. Do our best to not get pelted with those projectiles. Back away. And we can run into another focus point. Oh, we missed him. That's okay, though. Light attack combo usually has some pretty good stagger in the first few hits. And then we can kill the little asparagus guy. Can run into a light attack and then spin around. Usually he doesn't time it so perfectly. Normally you can get a hit in before he starts doing his thing. We can grab this Gentan. We're going to go down here. This is an area that I thought would hold a secret if you climbed up it, but it doesn't. It just has two enemies. But at this point, we want to kill the enemies for the experience, so that's why we're doing this. A little bit of will, a little bit of experience, never a bad thing. So you can actually come up here. I thought you could. I was super excited. I was like, okay, now we can continue kind of going around, and you can't. There's an invisible barrier that prevents you from progressing any further. Down this pathway, though, we're going to come onto another enemy here that's super annoying. He is the same fan enemy, but it's of course the elite version that you can absorb. So it's gonna be lots of fun. Trust me. We can absorb this will though. And this is going to allow us to replenish one of our gourd uses. And again, as I mentioned, and this is the reason why I brought it up, if you feel like your gourd uses are coming up a little short and you might need more, you can always visit Shen Monkey. And again, this is another pathway that you can't explore. I just want to show you guys that stuff. But anyways, we're going to come up here, and this is where, when you see a little rock here, the fan enemy will be coming down from there. So make sure you take out anybody else. It might be a distraction. And you can face off with this guy. Keep him... If you keep him too far away from you, he will do some pretty nasty attacks. So you want to use your immobilization if you can. Here we're going to try to use this if we can pull it off. It's okay. We're going to use our cloud step. Keep him stunned best we can. That's alright. Do a falling attack here. Keep him stunned. Light attack should keep him staggered for a bit. Back away if we can. Do another focus point. So this is scary. This is when it gets scary. We're going to do a transformation because he actually froze us, and I was in the middle of trying to heal. So not a good thing, but we can go ahead and de-transform. At this point, we can always top off our heals now because we have a spirit we can absorb. And then we can take this right here. Absorb the spirit. Refill our gourd uses, and then we're pretty decent. The Falcon Hermit, that's his name. Yeah, those guys are annoying. This is going to be a ginseng monster we can go ahead and take out. You can always tell by looking at the disturbance in the snow. He was making snow angels before he went and took a nap. I guess he was trying to get out of the cold, right? I don't blame him. And we're still looking for that, that steel soak, which is a unique soak you can get. No monkeys, huh? It's not very nice. I am on a business trip here. I'm on a mission. There you go. Now he's dead. Everybody talks about my fur-faced or my mute-faced, you know, like the fur-faced monkey or mute-faced monkey. It's like, dude, I'm the reincarnation of Sun Wukong. Alright, so here we go. We're going to continue on this pathway. After we cross the bridge, we're going to have another bout with another difficult enemy. Of course, it's a Monk of the Sea. You guessed it, right? But we got to make sure that we survive this encounter, because otherwise we have to make that long trek again. And it can be a little difficult just because the Monk of the Sea is a relatively strong enemy. We do have a transformation, and we have the means to kind of trigger a little bit of a stagger. So I'll show you guys how to use the Wind Tamer to good effect here, if we can pull this off. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and run with our thing here, see if we can get this attack off. There you go. Then we can do the Wind Tamer to stun him again. It actually deals a little bit of damage too, which is always nice. And then we're going to transform. And then we can go ahead and finish him off safely. So just light attacks here, just our square attack is all you can do. Unless he, of course, spams attacks, and you can do your Skull Crusher. And that'll just make quick work of him. So thank you, Monk of the Sea. We're going to de-transform so we can get our might back. And then we're going to open up this chest here. So not a voidness. That's going to be a material that can use to cultivate spirits, make them stronger, and Blood of the Iron Bull. And then we'll be coming up on a celestial pair. You can see it off in the distance. But you definitely want to grab this. And then we'll be in the clear. This is kind of the extent of that area at this point in time. We've come full circle, and you guys have seen we've gone all the way through this area here. We can take out these enemies. There's two. One on a little bit lower of a ledge. There's really no point to aggro him. Instead, just defeat this one. And there's no reason to drop down because there's nothing down there. No items, no collectibles. So instead, you can just slide down this little hill here. And then once we come down, you'll start hearing the commotion again. So that means, hey, we might be really close to that that entrance that we were talking about earlier. So all we've done is come full circle. These are the steps to the area over by the warding temple. So there you have it. So now we can go ahead and rest at this shrine. And then we have another fight with the Macaque Chief. Again, this guy is an absolute jerk in my opinion. One of the most annoying enemies, because if you let him hit you, then he's an absolute troll. But if you can keep him staggered, he's not bad at all. But we're gonna go ahead and make some more of these bad boys. I say we can make make a good chunk. There's no reason to skimp out on these. So another thing is chilled. It would be good to have some of these bad boys as well. So just make a good handful of them. Alright, good stuff. Good stuff. So anyways, now we have the chill medicament and also the tiger subduing pellets, which are going to increase our damage. So we didn't take a look at the Falcon Hermit because I was so shocked I almost died there, but you can look at the demo and he can freeze enemies and actually cause a little tornado. It's pretty good. Has some pretty good frost. There's going to be a spirit we get a little bit later on that is fantastic. But it's not bad to either keep the Wandering White, which has been doing great so far, or, of course, changing it out to one that deals frost. In my opinion, frost is one of the best skills you can possibly use, or possible afflictions you can use against an enemy. Not only does it freeze them in place, but also it just allows you to deal a bunch of damage in the meantime, so you can just continuously deal damage while you're unaffected. And even the frost effect itself causes damage, so really nice. Alright, so now what we can do is I actually wanted to go back to the shrine and see if we could cultivate the spirit here, the Wandering White. And we can continue enhancing it. Again, it's a really good one to have. So you can use the blood of the Iron Bull, and all it will do is reduce the amount of chi you have, and also it deals a bunch of damage too. So not a terrible one to have. I say that for now that's fine. You could max it out if you really wanted to, but I don't want to use all of our... Well, hell, it's fine. I don't want to use all of our stuff, but we have plenty. So now we've maxed it out to the highest tier. This thing is going to be a monster. And again, just in those few episodes, we've acquired like 60 or more thousand karma, or I should say will, my apologies, and that is going to allow us to continuously, kind of like rack it up. So you can sell all of this, of course, too. Anytime you have any of these gold pieces, just sell them to any vendor and you can get your will back. Will, of course, is the currency, not karma. I called it karma because I'm thinking of something else. But anyway, so now we're going to run up here. We have everything we need. Now we have body warming powder if we get frozen, all kinds of stuff, so we're in good shape. Let's see what happens.
Well, harsh winds and an old friend. I couldn't be happier. Join me. Snow is the best soil for poetry.
Here we go. So first you want to do is see if you can get a sneak attack in. Start off the combo if you can. If he gets up too fast, no worries. We'll do a light attack combo and knock him down here. If he doesn't let us knock him down, then we can transform. And then he can hit us as much as he wants to. Every time he hits us, it's just going to build up our meter. So there we can do our Skull Crusher already. Again, if you let him attack you, he's a real jerk. And unfortunately, he didn't get staggered. Usually the light attack combos, if you do them repeatedly, you can kind of chain together and prevent him from attacking you at all. So anyways, we're going to do our Wind Tamer to increase our defense. We're going to go ahead and heal up. Oops, I lost my lock on here. That's not good. There you go. Gonna heal again. We'll do a focus point combo here on his face. You can use Pluck and Many just to be fancy, why not? We'll have some fun with him. This guy's a real jerk anyways. Get him surrounded by all of us. And that's okay to go crazy with it. Not only is he a tough boss, but we're right next to a shrine, so I'm not missing out on anything. We got him cornered now. There you go. So now he's been defeated, and guess what? We're gonna get that Ring of Fire spell that the Gourd Master was using. So that's the second time we face off with the Macaque Chief, but I swear to you, it will not be the last. He's an absolute menace.
Ah, hold it, my friend. Sit with me a while. Dark-furred, devious-natured, hunting that Gwai is no simple task. You do have some skills, but this land bites with cold. Lack of readiness could be your undoing. Our reunion is destined, and so is my role to teach you this little trick.
So we get to learn how to use the Ring of Fire spell.
I am extraordinary, as is my flame. It shall help you in need, be it injury, weariness, or frostbite. Beast or Yaogwai, none shall dare to draw nigh.
So now we have the Ring of Fire spell. I'm going to be honest with you. It's more of a support type spell. It can increase your recovery. It builds up your focus much faster while you're within the confines of the circle. But it doesn't do anything aside from that, like from an offensive perspective. And that's why I normally don't slot it into in place of or in lieu of the immobilization spell. But we will be using it actually at some point in the future, specifically for a quest. So what I'm going to do is actually take a look at what I can craft in terms of armor, because I want to bump up my defense just a bit. So let's see, here we currently have the Gale Guard Beast Mask, that's what we currently have equipped. The Bronze Monkey Mask is a step down, and the Pilgrim's Headband and Pilgrim set in general is a fantastic set, but it's not going to really show off or showcase its abilities until we can start upgrading it. And once the defense starts getting more viable for this part or this late in the game, then it's going to be outstanding. Personally, my favorite gear and the best set with the most bonuses as well, and the set that I use in my off-stream playthrough. So here we have the Monastic Insect Hat. This is actually really neat looking, and it does enhance our medicines, considering we were using more and more medicines these days. But the Ochre Battle Robe could be something we could increase our defense with, and it doesn't look too bad either. This is going to be one that really enhances the pluck of many, as opposed to getting the perfect dodges. So it's just something we can consider, like, what would we like to use in lieu of our current gear set? We can definitely use this. Now just note that if we create this, soon after the next chapter, we're going to be getting an even better set. So one set that in particular is very high in defense against lightning. So it's really just a matter of time. I think for now we can continue using this. It does have shock resistance anyways, and the Ochre Battle Robe is going to be more suited for maybe someone that uses a pluck of many a little bit more. So we'll keep what we have on, but note that we have plenty of materials, and we can certainly rely on those if we need to. So what we're going to do next is we're going to travel over to Chapter 1 and visit our little friend, the Shen Monkey. We're going to enhance our gourd so that we can not only use the gourd more often, but also enhance its potency. So with the fragrant vines and the awakened wine worms, those are the two components that enhance the number of uses and also the potency of each drink that we take. And this is something that we can do all throughout. Anytime you get a new fragrant vine or a wine worm, you can always upgrade it. And if you feel like, man, I just keep getting killed, I don't have enough heals, you can always come back to Shen Monkey to upgrade your gourd. Soon the NPCs will all be in one nice little location, so you won't have to worry about tracking them down. So his store has upgraded. Every time you go to a new chapter, his store and merchandise typically upgrade. So we can definitely buy the Awakened Wine Room super cheap. And a Fragrant Vine, absolutely. You can get this for some shock resistance. We're going to be needing that, so we're certainly going to grab that. We're just going on a little bit of a shopping spree here, and that's fine. So now we can look at what we want to brew. We'll be facing off with some pretty difficult bosses, all of which are going to be shocking us to death, or at least trying to. So it's not a bad thing to equip this because the thunder damage we're going to be taking is pretty nasty. And that's if you can time your heals correctly. If for whatever reason you're timing and you just trying to heal and you can't get the timing down, you constantly get interrupted, use the iron pellet. I think it's an amazing soak to have, but something specific to, you know, the environment or the bosses we're going to be facing off with is going to be ideal. We'll be facing off with 2 bosses in particular that focus on thunder damage or shock damage. So anyways, now we can go ahead and upgrade our gourds. So you can always choose to upgrade different gourds, but honestly the best gourd to be upgrading is going to be your medicine gourd. And I say that because eventually you'll have up to 10 uses of your gourd. And also it's the only gourd that can be upgraded to mythical status. So I definitely suggest doing that. Now we can heal even more times. Now we can heal 7 times with the medicine sage gourd. So this just increases the number of gourd uses. And then now we can hold on to the rest of our Loajua fragrant vines, and we can upgrade our drink. The drink is the actual concoction that we're consuming once we use the gourd. So if you go here, you can look at the wine. Now it's going to increase to 10-year-old coconut wine. And now we don't have any sufficient materials, but guess what? We have another soak that we can equip. So that's fantastic. Now we have another slot. So we can actually change it back to how we had it. So we have the iron pellet, which will fortunately prevent us from getting interrupted while we're trying to heal, because lightning loves to do that. And then we can have the shock resistance for this particular 2 bosses we're going to be facing off with. We can constantly be changing these around to suit our playstyle. So now our drink is much better too. As you noted, you see that now the drink itself has upgraded efficiency where 43% of the maximum health is recovered. So that's incredible, almost half.
There's no going back to the court.
He pulled me back in. I don't want to talk with you, you drunken monkey. He's crazy. He loves, he misses home. But anyway, so what we're going to do is we're heading back. If you wanted to, for whatever reason, you might be struggling with your health or defense, we can always go back to Shoe Dog as well. He's in chapter 2, and we can actually craft some celestial medicine. So because I mentioned it, there's no reason not to. So now we can go to the cellar, and this cellar is going to be housing Shoe Dog. This is his area of operations, if you will. And from here, you can craft celestial medicines and even request medicines from him, and he'll give you free medicines, usually 3 at a time. So let's go ahead and do that first, and then we can craft celestial medicines and increase our health even further, and maybe even our mana or stamina, just whatever you see fit. Again, you don't have to follow this guide to the T, but certainly at least listen to the tips I'm giving you so that you can decide for yourself, ooh, I think I might need a little more mana because I use spells like crazy. So then use the celestial medicine that's going to allow you to use more mana. Whereas I would prefer to have health or stamina in my playstyle, right? So we can go to make medicines, talk with Shoe Dog here, and we're going to say, hey, let's take a look at your store, buddy. You can buy this. Anytime you buy a formula, you can then craft it yourself. So this is going to increase maximum stamina. So again, not bad to have. He's not giving us any medicines at this time. That's perfectly fine, but we can still make our own. So this is just going to show the new one that we just learned. But we go to Celestial Medicines, and again, if we want to increase our maximum health, we can certainly do that.
Uncover the secrets of sky and earth, and thou shalt have pills.
Increased health is never a bad thing to have, because as we get and we continue to progress further and further later in the game, we're going to start seeing that some enemies can pretty much one-shot us, and then the rest can just kill you in 2 shots. So if they can't kill you in 1, they're going to get you in 2. And I will say that in my first playthrough, which was the challenge run I did, where I didn't use any medicines, and I didn't use any sparks, and no leveling, it was very difficult. It was hard. So anyways, we've used the remaining mind cores to craft all the medicines. We just have 1 left, so you can actually make 9 of these lotus pills. And for now, we're going to save it, because why not? If you're really struggling and man, I keep getting shocked, you could use this, of course, but it only gives you like a +2 every single time you use it. So it's best to maybe be able to make them in big batches, in my opinion. All right, so we're going to go ahead and remove the body warming powder. We won't be getting frozen for a little while. Now we can travel back to where we just left off in the new west, which was the Warding Temple. And then from the Warding Temple, we're going to be grabbing some loot. and then heading to a really unique area. It's going to serve as our boss arena, also kind of as like a moving island, and you're going to see exactly what I mean. There's a really cool cutscene, kind of a lengthy cutscene, but you're going to see one of our little buddies, an NPC that's going to follow us throughout the rest of the game once we actually save him. And it's going to happen in just a few moments, so we'll be making our way there now. Alright, so we're going to head up the staircase here, go through the warding temple itself. And as we make our way up here, there's going to be a chest. You can easily miss it by just running straight towards that staircase, but it's right here, tucked away in the corner. Again, Blood of the Iron Bull and gold pieces, never bad. Never bad to have a little extra cash, right? Get these fools over here. Oh, I missed. Love that. Alright. So now all we do is just move along this pathway here, and we'll be reaching that island that I was telling you about. Now, this will require us to go back yet again through this chapter to grab one measly little will, but that's up to you, and I'll tell you exactly when that is, so you can decide if you want to do that for yourself. But we're going to slide down this hill, and right in that disc, you're going to see we're going to meet somebody, one of our buddies, before long. The first time you reach this area, you'll be forced into a boss encounter. But if you die for whatever reason, you'll have the ability to activate a shrine. So if I die, I'll leave it in there so I can show you guys where the shrine is, so you can go ahead and try in any subsequent attempts. But if you win, you have the freedom to roam around and you can find the shrine. There's plenty of things to find on this particular boss arena. But I'll be quiet for a moment. We're going to be facing off with Kang Jin Star, which is the human version of Kang Jin Long. Kang Jin Long was the dragon we faced off with on the frozen lake.
Keep at it. You could melt into blood and pus.
Darling, come on. It's perfectly cool in here. Join me inside. Have some dance practice, will you?
Such humour, Admiral. Let go of your stubbornness and I could request Master to set you free. Then I'd be open to joining you.
Oh, I don't deserve you. That old bastard has really made good use of Wukong's relic. Even you, celestial courtier, bend to his will. Yet my ears tell me that the destined one has stopped the money wheel. Pity. Reckon it won't be your master who unlocks these metals eventually.
These gold symbols are made by our Grand Master. And you think a puny monkey can go beyond that?
So from inside, he pretty much hit those discs or those symbols, and he woke up the island, which happens to be a massive tortoise. So the island that we're on is actually the back of the shell of a turtle. Turtle General, to be precise.
How could you know he's here below?
Turtle? Snake? Who cares? I caught a whiff of monkey stench familiar enough for me to sound my welcome.
Master values
Here we go.
your talents. He kept you alive beneath the pagoda for your own good. How ungrateful. Evidently, you just don't deserve the ecstasy of the New West.
Alright, so there's a lot of phases to this boss fight, many of which rely heavily on projectiles. A lot of 3-hit combos as well, but each of them usually have follow-ups. So always try and stay behind her if you can. She loves to just string together combos like that, many of which can inflict shock. Remember, once you get shocked, your damage will be doubled, or damage you receive, so not the damage you deal. So I'm shocked right now, you can tell because of my life bar. Alright, so what we're going to do here is remove our lock on. And then we're going to run around and avoid these kind of lightning rods, if you will, these makeshift lightning rods, and any lightning strikes that come our way. Try and conserve your stamina as best you can. Once she comes down, she'll be a little bit tired, so you can deal some damage here. I did not mean to heal there, that's okay, I'll take it. Back away from any of those explosions. Keep dodging here. As you see those rings around you, they'll explode. Always stay away from anything she uses. They typically explode. They have a delayed explosion effect, so just be mindful of that. When she transforms, she'll usually get pretty tired, and she lands slowly, so usually takes a moment to breathe in Fabs. I'm going to try and freeze her again. She's going to get a little bit more difficult here. She's going to continue triggering her different phases, and here we've got phase 2. Starts off with some projectiles that are not too bad to dodge. Once they come down towards you, that's when you want to initiate the dodge maneuver like that right there. Oh, I did not mean to press R2. That's okay though. She'll finish up her strike. I was trying to just dodge, but that's okay. Now she's entered phase 2. There you go. That's what we need. When she comes on down, we can go ahead and initiate our skull crusher. But we're way too far away to make any use of it, unfortunately. So we'll just have to hold on to this transformation. Pretty sloppy in my opinion, but that's okay. Those things happen. I had the controller up against down against my leg. I hold it in my lap, so not a good idea. It's okay, though, it happens. Can use the wind tamer to interrupt her, and then we're gonna go ahead and use our white. Do some damage here while she's stunned. There you go, just keep dodging. Dodge away. Now here, just keep dodging to the side. She's going to throw a massive spear, and it will explode, so just continue running away from it. Now that she's a little bit tired, you can try and immobilize her. It's going to get harder and harder to do that as she's imbued with her electricity. But try and pull off light attack combos to stun her. Focus attack combos to continuously stun her, deal more damage. Remember, the light attack combos are great in the beginning, so don't neglect them. Keep dodging to the side here. This is really dangerous. Heal if you can. It's okay if we get hit there. Heal again just to be safe. And then once she comes down, she'll be a little stunned. And we'll finish her off with the light attack combo. So we were able to beat her the first try, even though we made a huge mistake by using our transformation prematurely, but no big deal. At least we're treated to a nice cutscene.
Monkeys are set in their ways. Still though, you'll never crack the gold symbol.
Is that what you think? And now we get to meet Zhu Bajie, our not so friendly NPC friend. That's his signature rake. And this furry little fellow is Zhu Bajie. He's just taking his time to get down.
took you so long? Constipation? I was nearly cooked alive in there. Move it.
No honor whatsoever with this one.
Blasted eyesore. Wasn't even worth my second glance back in the court. That same look again. A furry coat and a pinched face. Luck's all you've got. Great, another mute. Whatever. Let's not dally. Now the turtle and I have shared a few tales.
So we'll follow him for a bit before we go separate ways.
It's not like our foes. That old monkey from Mount Quagro asked me to back you up here to save you from his ugly tricks. He told me that once we gathered all 6 relics, we could bring Wukong back. Let's say I buy it for now. I'll go and catch up with him first. You take a look around.
Okay, now that we're free to go our separate ways, there's a lot to explore on this island. First and foremost, look at the detail of the drawing. It's so nice. It's like this iridescent scale. It's really cool. Anyways, nothing that you can do, at least to my knowledge. Not a thing you can do. She's actually dead now, so not a thing you can do. But anyways, what we can do is we can find the shrine. This is going to be the Turtle Island shrine here. And definitely want to rest because we have another difficult fight up ahead. The interesting thing about this fight is that it's not that in and of itself the battle is difficult, it's just that it doesn't allow a lot of room for error. The enemy we're going to be facing off with is the third secret Long, which is the Cyan Long, and he of course deals thunder damage as most of his brethren do. But the problem is he only has like 2 or 3, he's got like about 4 moves in total. However, if you are not careful, he can completely demolish you and your health bar because he inflicts lightning damage like nobody's business. So if you are wanting to do this, which I certainly advise, I certainly implore you to do so, as they say, you can use this armor here, which is what I was waiting for, the long skill battle robe, which is going to not only allow you to have increased defense against shock and things like that in nature, but if you look at it, massively reduces the duration of shock state. So if you get shocked, it's going to reduce that state. And if you're able to then deal thunder damage, it'll increase the damage that you deal. So pretty cool. So we're definitely going to be crafting this instead. So here's piece number 1. We'll go ahead and craft it and equip it. It's going to give us a huge benefit to our defense. And then we're going to go here for the long skill arm guard. Gives us increased shock resistance again. And then we're going to go for the greaves. So it's a 3-piece set. Again, it does go with certain staves that are going to deal thunder damage, and of course any spirit skills you want to have equipped that can do something similar. And then in regards to the headpiece, there isn't actually a headpiece or a hat or any mask that goes with it. Instead, you can either craft one of these if you want, or you can just keep what we have on. It's up to you. I'm actually going to be changing it out for something a little different just for the sake of, looking cool. So the set itself looks amazing. If you look at it up close, it's got like all the asymmetry that I love. A golden dragon on the side. I mean, it just looks fantastic. It's a really good set. But anyways, let's go ahead and change out the face piece. Let's see, what would be fun here? I wouldn't mind having either one of these, actually. The folk opera mask or the Grey Wolf mask because of the bonus damage. I think we'll go with the bonus damage for now. It doesn't necessarily match the best, but it does look cool nonetheless. Or we could go with this mask and increase the will. So it's really whatever you want. So at this point, we're not necessarily going for defense or anything. We're just going for some fashion. We'll do that because it matches a bit better. All right, so first things first. We have a boss to take out. And let's see what he says. Let's listen to the narrator.
For what deed must the waters they governed roam free?
And there he is right there.
For what deed must all matters not known how to be? For what deed must mercy's hand so woe upon thee? For what deed must the Cyan One onto the shores flee. Evening light on snow, paths clear below, lightning strikes in flow, all happens before you know.
There you go. So this is going to be the third secret log, and we can reach his boss arena just by going here. In my opinion, this is one of the best looking log, one, and then two, his weapon is amazing and his cutscene is amazing. So I absolutely love this boss encounter. Alright, so the Cyan Long typically has a maneuver. He's going to try and close the distance. If he ducks his head in, you know he's going to do it, so like that right there. Let him land, and then once he lands you can use your immobilization and start hitting him from the back. Now, if you hit or start a combo and it lasts too long, he can swing his tail. But if you have him pressed and you continue doing things like focus attacks and keeping him stunned, you can really trivialize the first phase of this fight. So just by jumping, then doing focus point here, we can do our Wandering White. All fun stuff here. Now if he uses the electricity, it will cause an AoE explosion after the fact, so just stay away from it. Roll to the side, do not roll back, otherwise it will explode in a vertical line that will attack you. So for now we're just going to keep him busy. He'll come to me, and then we can just do our 3-hit combo again. I would like for him to actually trigger our Rock Crusher Skull, our Skull Crusher ability. There you go. Now we want to back up. He's entering phase 2. We might have, I don't know. He actually pulled it off. His sword is now on, is now completely imbued with lightning. So now his damage is increased significantly. He can also do like 3-hit combos, but again, the boss itself, not a hard boss. It's just he can hit you like a truck. So actually he interrupted my attack there. I wasn't able to get my immobilize off, unfortunately. That's unfortunate. Duck right here, and he's gonna land. There you go. Sometimes he can continue that combo. It can be a 3-hit combo if he wants it to be. Tail swipe's gonna be a lot more common now. This is probably a 3-hit combo here. Dodge vertically from those strikes. If his head goes down, he's going to do a swipe. There you go. We'll go ahead and heal, because again, our damage that we receive is going to be doubled. There you go. He's not liking that too much. Very good. We'll do another jumping attack here. Now, if he does a very specific motion, he's going to shake out his ability actually and remove the lightning from his sword. It's a huge strike he telegraphs for days, so just be careful with it. If he shakes his head, he's going to be doing the close distance attack. He's going to drop down. He didn't follow up the combo, so we can just go ahead and take him out. Remember, don't do what I just did there and dodge vertically, because that'll cost you your life. Let him attack the decoy, and then we can go ahead and finish him off here. There you go, that's Cyan Long. He didn't actually deactivate his second phase, so his sword can actually be unimbued with lightning, and it's a very long and slow attack, but once he does it, it's a huge AoE, so if it hits you, you're probably dead. But that's the Cyan Long, one of my favorite bosses in the game, just because of the mechanics. I love the design, and the cutscenes are just incredible. So after we grab this chest, we're going to warp back to the shrine, just to save ourselves 2 seconds. And just so you know, anytime that you craft any kind of legendary armor or above, you're going to use those threads. The Mountain Shaking Claw is a crafting material for a weapon, and the Breath of Fire is going to help enhance our damage for the Cloud Step. And then because we defeated a dragon, we get a Long Pearl. So that's our whole list of items there. Good stuff. We're going to warp back to the shrine. Just by warping in and of itself, as I told you before, if you warp, that counts as a rest. So you don't have to rest at the shrine again. It's just going to count as it's being done. So now we're going to be circling clockwise around this turtle's back. You want to start from as far back as you can. So obviously this is the little point here where you can start. There's nothing on the very tip of his tail or anything like that. So instead, you just want to go around this way. And then once you drop down, there's going to be a little pillar you can see here. It's like a little light. Let me see here. I'm trying to find it for you guys. Oh no, that's not it. There it is. There it is. There you go. There's the chest. I was gonna say there should be like some little lights in the table. But anyways, we can open up this chest right here. And this is going to increase our maximum health. And you can do this at any point in time. Say, for example, you're struggling, you don't have enough health. You could do this before you fight the Cyan Long if you wanted to. Or if you die. Say you lost your first attempt at Kung Jing Star. You can go right back and fight her again. But you can do it at your own leisure. If you didn't want to fight at that moment in time, you can actually come back and search the island. You just have to die first. So we're going to search the outer rim first, and then we're going to continue going in and up and up. So we're just going to keep making circles here. There's lots of bats that try and ambush us in these caves, so just be prepared for that. But we can open up this chest right here. Again, tons of materials. This is going to be the end of this pathway, but you can jump up it if you do the double jump that I taught you. So if you jump and then press triangle, you can flip up for it. And this would be... Oh, let me dodge that real quick. One of the ambushes that I was going to tell you about. I couldn't even finish my thought. You can come back up this way, though, before you move forward, because there's a few things up here. A few enemies as well. And there's will to absorb all over the place. There's also the enemies that fire out the those projectiles, and you can get the golden lotus seeds from them. It's a pretty rare drop, actually, so I'll take all these fiends out. There you go. And then again, we started out at a little bit of a lower angle, so you can continue kind of going up and up and up. Here, if you go up, you're going to be taking out the asparagus guy. And that's perfectly fine. If you continue to go up, you're going to actually be in the arena where you fought the boss. So we're going to stay down here instead. And we'll just kind of clear this out along the way. But just watch for the projectile. You're going to be pelted with it a few times. And then we're going to work our way back down. There's going to be a few things we need to get. You can absorb will and all that stuff. Ah, get up there, buddy. And if you notice, our decoys are doing damage because of the skill tree that we activated. So it's really nice to have the decoys explode. So when you get perfect dodges, then it deals even more damage. They're even more useful. Aside from just building up focus, they can deal damage for you as well. So there's a will we're going to absorb. Again, this is just leading back. I want to kind of connect it for you guys to the boss arena. We're going to be circling to the other side just so that you know. It's going to allow us to get the rest of it on the other side, which isn't too much, but we got to finish it off. And also, there's a few pieces of will that we can absorb. Alright. And at any point in time, you can kind of scour the edges as much as you want to, just to make sure you don't miss anything. But we're going to be grabbing all of the items, so don't you worry. But we grabbed the chest and the coffin. So the major pieces of loot. And then you kind of circle back around here. You have a second coffin here. And then we have the projectile enemies. And then if you want to circle back through just to kill the rest of the enemies you can on that middle rung. That little middle layer, if you will. But if not, you can stay to the top and take them out that way. So here we got the double jump. This is going to be effective here as well. Fortunately, those little projectile hits don't do much damage at all. More than anything, they just interrupt you when you're attacking or in the middle of a fight. So, alright, so now if you want, you can stay on that one so you can defeat the rest of the enemies. Just from this angle, you can kind of see the rest of them. There should only be like 1 or 2 we left behind. That little guy right there. Yeah. That's all. If you want to defeat him, again, it's just for the experience. Doesn't hurt. Okay. And now that we've done that, we can circle back up this pathway. It's usually best to just go from the farthest left all the way up and then just keep kind of snaking back and forth that pathway. But now from here, you want to avoid the head. Like, do not go too far and don't speak with Zhu Bajie, which is up there. Instead, you're going to stay around this side. Do not go too much further, because if you do, you'll trigger the next sequence. So instead, we can cross directly to the right-hand side, and then we're going to do a little loop here. You have to do like about 2 loops or so you can make sure you grab all the will, because again, there's multiple like rings you can explore. So first things first, we're going to go this way, and then we got more of those asparagus dudes. They can somehow see you a mile away, such as the sightless beings, boons. They have the ability to see, although they cannot see. Now this is a ginseng monster we can take out. Dodge back once. Oh my gosh. To get out of the range, I was going to say, but instead just get hit. It's fine. Aged ginseng. He still hasn't dropped our steel soak. They're so stingy with that. So we're going to stay on this outer ring again. Take out these enemies. And we'll be getting pelted with the projectile dudes from above. So if you want, and that's really bothering, you can always go on that top layer first. But regardless, you'll have to traverse this pathway multiple times to get everything. Every time I pick up ginseng, my heart races. But then I realize I didn't get it. I didn't get what I needed. Alright, so we'll take this guy out. They've been so good with their timing in this entire stream. I'll tell you that they never do that. They usually don't hit you right when you're approaching them. Little bastards. Okay, there's another one we can take out as well. Then remember, they can see you from afar, so they will always deal all kinds of damage. There's a bat enemy here as well, so just... you can usually hear them before you see them. They're pretty fast. Alright, so we're going to go down. Alright, and then, actually this way is what I'm trying to do. There you go, there's a little pathway here. We'll go on the upper pathway here in a moment, but we can't miss this will here. What would we do without it? What would we do without this? He's swinging around like a madman. We're going to go ahead and replenish our gourd. And continue along this pathway. At the end of this point, there's going to be several enemies guarding a will. But if you go down here, you can kill some more, and then in hopes to get that golden leads. The golden lotus seed, I should say, but dodge that. See, it hits you for 2. Lovely, thank you, sir. If you want to keep doing that, go right ahead. Alright, this guy, equally annoying. And these are just the enemies you can defeat, and you can also farm them if you haven't got the curios or the seeds for them yet. This guy's gonna really hurt. He might fill that one in the morning. But yeah, aside from that, that's going to be the extent of the exploration from this side. It would start at the lowest point, which is going to have... I'm looking for the stone statue. There it is, right here. So you see the stone statue right there. But anyways, now that we're down here... we should go down this path, actually. We're going to go back up, and then there'll be a little bit of a pond surrounded by 3 of the frozen enemies. I don't know their names, so I forget the portrait entries of the names for them. And once you defeat them, you'll get a wisp, or will, you can absorb, and you'll be good to go. But that's when you know you've completed the area. So there's another bat making all the little noise, all his squeaking. Silly little guy. Can absorb this here. A triple wisp. Gives us tons of will there. It's like 1200. And then it doesn't hurt to just explore to see if there's anything else, but honestly, there's not much you can get here on this particular side because we've already explored like the busy end of it, so this is just kind of a loop around. And you can actually take this high path and jump around, but we're going to need to go backwards a bit. This is going to lead us back to the Cyan Log, which would be right here where we fought him. So instead we go back, and then we're going to get that will that I was just talking to you about with the 3 enemies guarding it. And then inside each of the caves on the upper level, you're going to see that there's even more. So we can go back, or you can go around. It doesn't really matter, however path you feel more comfortable with, but you can kind of stick to these little paths here, and then you just go up on the higher levels, and you'll be able to grab all the stuff. Alright, so here's the wills with the 3 enemies here. Used our Resolute Strike and got some iframes there. It's always nice. Feels really good to pull that off. And then I'm gonna swing around like a madman. We can heal. We can absorb this will here. And then from here you can honestly just circle around this way or go. It doesn't matter. It's honestly just a matter of preference. Like how are you most comfortable just getting up this hill? More ginseng you can gather, and then there's enemies through this cave. Once we get up another level, though, you're going to see that you can actually close this out, this chapter, this right side of the turtle anyways, and then you'll get one more will and be done on this side. And it's just right here. So you can go all the way through if you want, and then you go to the other side and there should be a will on the, like in between these little caves, like near where we fought Kung Jin Star, which is right in this area. So there should be a cave over to the left that has will that we can absorb as well. Oh gosh. And where is it? Where is it? We may have grabbed it already. As I was rambling, I was talking my little head off. Yeah, we must have already got it, so you can grab this tree pearl here if you want to. But let's go back, just in case to double back. Might as well. We got the pearl tree seed. That's fantastic. Good job, good job. That's a rare drop as well. Pretty difficult to get. So you just, every time you can, make sure you harvest so you can get the seeds. And then once you get the seeds, you don't have to worry about it anymore. Yeah, I think we got it. It would have been right there. Yep. Yeah, we got it already. Good for us. Okay, good. So now that we've done that, all we need to do next is go to the head of the turtle, which is going to be all over here. We're at the tail end right now, so we're going to be heading towards the head. We'll speak with Zhu Bajie, and then he's going to have the turtle kind of dock, if you will. And then we're going to do one more backtrack so we can get a single item that is not necessarily worth the time and effort, but it's just so funny that this chapter just really trolls you with the backtracking. But anyways, we're going to head up here and speak with him. We're going to be speaking with that individual that I told you about. They can let us reach the Zodiac Village, and I think I'm going to end it there. So here you go. We're going to be landing before long.
Must have had it rough all these years in this shithole. Rest easy. Once we're ashore, I'll take down that blasted temple to avenge you and Brother Snake. I hear you! Dead or alive, all suffer the same. You'd be better off staying a stone. Come on, cut the whips and wines, will you? You're too old for those. Yes, stop the sobbing. Stay here and wait. I'll check on your snake, pal.
So he's weeping for a reason. You're going to find out in the next episode. But first and foremost, what we need to do is we need to tag this shrine. We can certainly rest at it, and now we're going to arrive at the North Shore. We can rest here and then take a look at the different soaks we picked up along the way. This, of course, was the soak we got from the Cyan Long. It just increases your damage for the next cloud strike. So cloud step strike anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and equip that because I love using it. And then when it comes to the weapons, we can craft new weapons. And if you look at it, we have the, we already had this though, the Starlit Cloud-Bitten Antler. That's what we got from Kong Jin Long. And once you obtain that, you can craft this staff. Right now we're doing 66 damage with 7% critical hit. This does 70 damage. This does 70 damage, but only enhances the damage dealt by the Pillar stance, which is a stance we don't really use in this playthrough. You're more than welcome to use it. It's more of like a defensive stance and also crowd clearing, I would say. But we also are working our way towards the Golden Longstaff, which deals 108 damage. This is an excellent staff, but it's not going to be something we can craft until much later. And again, this is a mythical status staff as well, so not a bad one at all. But this isn't a bad staff to have at this point. If we want to change it out, we certainly could. So just to have a little bit more damage, we can go ahead and craft this one. Although it doesn't necessarily suit our style of doing the light attack combos, the Punishing Downpour is going to again be one of those pillar stance type attacks, but it does deal thunder damage instead of like just an AoE effect, so pretty cool. And then if we ever just wanted one without that kind of ability, for whatever reason, it's more of like a basic one. This one enhances the whole stance itself, the pillar stance in particular, so pretty cool. Now that we have it equipped, I think it's a really nice looking staff. And again, if the Punishing Downpour is going to be a stance specific move, what we're going to do is we're going to teleport back to the shrine right before we got on the turtle's back. So we go to the Pagoda Realm and then Warding Temple. This is where the macaque was fighting the Gourd Master, as I call him. So we're going to run up the stairs once we arrive, and we're going to tag a secret shrine and get a secret will that you would otherwise miss if you didn't watch this playthrough. It's so funny how they throw in these little things like that. I guess it's truly for the completionists, the people that are crazy enough to go back and check these things out. So the shrine was actually revealed to me by one of my my viewers in chat, but I found the will in my off-stream playthrough, and I was like, oh, they had this thing just kind of hidden off to the side. It's so funny. But anyways, now we're dealing more damage. That is beautiful. Look at that. You see the staff already building up damage. Look at that. That's insane. Now we've got the lightning effect as well. That's just fantastic. Remember, if we get shocked and we're dealing thunder damage, we're going to deal even more damage. So it's just a nice set to have on, the lightning set in particular, and then that staff. It just looks beautiful, so I absolutely love it. Alright, so we're going to continue down this pathway now. Instead of jumping on the turtle's back immediately and fighting a boss, well, obviously that's done, right? We don't have to do that anymore. So now we can just slide down in peace, make a hard left over here, grab this essence, and once it's absorbed, we can then head over to the right, and then we can activate this shrine. So again, a shrine that doesn't truly serve a purpose because there's nothing here, but normally you would be transported directly to the turtle's back through a cutscene. So I suppose that's why they do that. But there's a south shore and there's a north shore. So we're going to be traveling to the north shore now. And I think this is going to be an excellent point to end the stream, because the next stream we have to traverse through this entire shore, activate the secret, actually 2 side quests. We're going to reach a hidden place called the Zodiac Village, which I hinted at in this stream. And we've got some really fun bosses to fight as well. We're going to get one of the best spirit skills as well. So this is definitely my favorite part of Chapter 3. And it's going to be pretty epic. I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But just know that this chapter is quite long. No pun intended. No, but honestly, we'll be revisiting with the next episode, jumping into...
Did you ever hear the story?
No. Don't talk right now. No! He's going to try and sermonize me. But anyway, so I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you have found any value in these guides, please be sure to like and subscribe. It lets me know you want more content just like this. Also, we have obtained every single item thus far to pretty much my knowledge, and I'm assuming anyone else's, based on my previous playthroughs. So if there is something, some secret event or secret item or something that's triggered that I have not covered, please be sure to let me know in the comments. But aside from that, I am about 99% confident that this 100% guide will cover every single thing you can possibly obtain in a single playthrough, as well as the unique encounters. But anyways, as I said before, your viewership is more than appreciated. It helps this dream of mine of becoming a full-time content creator for the rest of my life, and it allows me to maintain that, because currently I'm 3 years strong thanks to viewers just like you guys. So I appreciate you so much for allowing me to live out this dream of mine and make it a reality. Aside from that, I just want to mention that the next guide is going to be covering a big chunk of chapter 3, and then we should hopefully finish it in the episode after that. So 2 more episodes for chapter 3. It's an incredibly long chapter, but after that we're going to just be mowing through the rest of the game, running through all the secrets, getting everything possible. So anyways, you guys are awesome. I want to say thank you all so much for watching. Again, like, subscribe, and comment. If you want to support me in a personal way, my Ko-fi page is also available. But click on these videos on screen now to jump into the next episode, and I'll be there to guide you when you arrive. Until next time, it's the Inhuman One, signing out.